And you can say, well, that was only a few years ago. We all know it now. Let's just get rid of it at this point. The future generations are not going to have that to know what's right or wrong. So then we just keep repeating the cycle over and over again. Let the art be there.
You know what you sound like right now? A politician.
A politician.
Let the art be there.
I don't know. Those politicians that burnt all the books.
Yeah. I mean, man, you spoke with some conviction. And
Yeah.
I just saw you up on there stand, and dang it, we're not going to burn the books. And dang it, we're not going to erase history. And dang it, we're going to do it this way. And this is how it's going to be done. You're going to have people that are going to vote for that.
Yeah. Vote for me. I'll set this dang world straight.
But doesn't it make you a politician?
Yeah.
Hey, blast off, I can talk my ass off. Hey, Smokey, what you seen, and I'll tell you what I saw. Hollywood, what you think, and I'll tell you what I thought. And we can talk about it all when we here on Trash Talk. Hey.
What's going on, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Trash Talkers Podcast.
We made it.
We made it, Smokey.
Yeah, we did.
What's up with you, broski?
Oh, not much, man. What's going on? Oh, there's a big war going on. I don't want to talk about it, though. Two people who loved each other apparently don't anymore.
All right.
Yeah, we don't talk politics here.
We'll bring it up, but don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Not at all. Let's leave that off the table. I'm excited, man. The UFC's coming to Atlanta, dude.
Yeah.
And this will be my second time going to the UFC. I'll actually be taking one of my really good friends to go see this fight, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's awesome because, you know, you're a big football fan.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine you meet someone that's a cool person and they know nothing about football.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but watch this and look at the way this does that. And then they become a bigger fan than you are. And it's like, oh, I would love to just see it. And I'm like, you know what? Guess where they're coming.
Well, let's do it.
Let's go. I'm going to take you there. I'm going to take you to the nice hotel. I'm going to give you that experience. So I'm excited for UFC Atlanta to come up, man. That's going to be awesome, dude. Have you ever had that experience to where you've met someone, like friend of yours, and you're like, they don't know anything about football or RC cars or cars, and you teach them, and they're like a fan because of you?
Yeah, but in those situations, I found that once I wasn't with the person anymore, they just stopped caring about it.
Oh, yeah. See, like, I'm talking like a friend, like someone you were just. I'm assuming this was a significant other. We don't.
Yeah. More than once, actually, that's happened, but. Yeah,
they went from Falcons fans to Saints fans.
That would suck.
You know what? Screw you. I'm not a Falcons fan anymore. I'm gonna be a Saints fan now.
That is brutal, man. That's just that's a line you don't cross right there.
Yeah, you don't. That's one you don't. And I wish you would bring up Tom Brady in this household, man. Yeah, in my opinion, like, I get it. If you're in if you're with this. In a relationship with someone, you know, intimate, and then it goes sideways, I wouldn't be surprised if she's a Drew Brees fan.
Yeah, exactly. Just to make you mad.
Just to piss you off, man. 100%. But if you guys are new here, the way we start each podcast is we always read the top 3 comments from the previous podcast, which happen to be groupies. A good thing
or a bad thing.
Yeah. So the number 3 most liked comment from that previous podcast, comes from Brian Yates. Brian Yates says, I'm a musician of 35 years, and I've definitely had some fun with groupies. Haha, it's called sex, drugs, and rock and roll for a reason. It was down and dirty and fun AF. Rock music specifically should be wild and free as long as it's agreed upon by consenting adults. Groupies and partying are the fruits of our labor. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you got to agree with that, right? Like, if everybody's consenting, then no harm, no foul.
Exactly. I agree 100%. The number 2 most liked comment from that previous podcast comes from I Ate Granola, and it's I Ate Granola. Shout out to you, I Ate Granola. I Ate Granola says, when you are a big enough groupie that you become friends with the band, the manager puts you on the list so you never have to pay to get into shows.
Yeah, that does happen for sure.
Yeah, that's a benefit of being a groupie, you know? And the number 1 most liked comment comes from a music professional, I6U. Shout out to you, music professional. Music professional says, a bit strange question. That thing is just one of those things which are a kind of attribute to any more or less good, even average band / performer. There are all. I'm sorry. The writing's a little off here. There are always will be like that. In some cases, in mass hysteria. The Beatles, Beatlemania, the best example. In other cases, much more humble, but still devoted fans. How to judge, is it good or bad? It is what it is. Senseless question, really.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, the writing was a little off, but
Yeah.
I mean, hey, man, we appreciate the comment, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude. But now today's topic, Smokey.
Mm-hmm.
Should an artist be looked at, prosecuted? Should their previous lyrics from a different decade, a different era, should those lyrics should they be used against them in an era where certain things are not so PC?
Yeah, that's the question, right? Because it's happening. Whether it's right or wrong, it's happening to a lot of artists at this time. And it's been going on since social media became a big thing, right? And the everyman got a voice, or every person, I guess we'll say these days. Every person has their own voice.
You just censored yourself when you
yeah,
didn't even know
exactly.
it.
But everybody has the voice, and a lot of people out there are looking for something to rail against.
Yeah.
And things that were acceptable in a previous time are not acceptable anymore. So people dig through those old catalogs and look at how horrible this person is. We should not be worshiping this artist. We should be pointing out how horrible this person is. That happens a lot these days. And I have to ask though, if it was acceptable at the time that they did it, is it really does it make that artist horrible today, especially if they apologize for it, if they're like, I've grown, I'm not the person I used to be? Shouldn't you give that artist some leeway and say, okay, well, if you're not that person anymore, then we'll say the old person was bad, which they would usually admit themselves, right? The artist we see in front of us now, probably a better person.
I mean, all right, well, let me ask you this. As an artist asking another artist, how does that make you feel? Knowing some of your lyrics that, you had said, some of those artists would apologize now because they've changed. Are there any lyrics you would apologize for today? Or did you, I'm curious on what you say here, because I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time that I'm not the person I was back when I wrote a lot of that stuff. Yeah. I know.
Give me a percentage. What percentage of your lyrics back in the day would you say I apologize for? 50%, 70%?
Not even. I wouldn't even say that, because a lot of it was wrote as a character, in a character sense. That it wasn't necessarily I'm saying I'm going to do all this stuff. I mean, we see that in rap all the time, right? The artist themselves is not saying, hey, I'm doing all this stuff in real life. No, this is a characterization that depicts something evil and horrible, right?
So what give me a percentage?
20? I mean, there are a few lines if I dug into it.
20%.
If that, yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, I like to think that I never crossed the line into some of the huge faux pas, like talking about children or stuff like that.
We have said some crazy things.
Oh, we said some crazy stuff for sure.
So I'll agree with you. There, again, it's a caricature. When you're doing the type of rap that we were doing back in the day, and we're gonna just speak about us for a second, but then we'll get on other artists. But looking at some of the things that I said, in the songs, yes, I would agree with you. 15-20% of the lyrics that I said, okay. As I'm older, I don't agree with saying it.
Yeah.
But the other 80%, at that time, that's how I felt. I wasn't mature enough to think any differently. So at that time, I can't go back in time and apologize to, hey, you shouldn't say that. At that time, at that era, at that particular point in the way life was going, that's how I felt. That's what I meant. And I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. So at that time, no, I won't apologize. Yes, there's 20% I will. But the other 80%, it's like, that's how I felt. Yeah. So I'm taking it. If it, my thing is, if it pisses you off, and I'm taking a book out of your, or page out of your book, if it pisses you off, don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to
it. That's the easiest thing to do, right? But I don't know. I feel like there's this wave of people now that, I guess sometimes they just don't have as much going for themselves. So they feel like a useful person if they can take down someone who said something controversial in the past. Like, if I start this movement to cancel this artist, then I feel like I've accomplished something. Even though that artist is not the person that you were listening to on an album that's 30 years old.
What gratification do you think that gives that person? Like,
oh, they feel a sense of accomplishment, I believe.
To ruin somebody?
Yeah.
Like, man, that's just not in my blood, dude.
Like forgiveness goes out the window in these cases, right? They're not thinking like, oh, this artist has changed, we should forgive them. You know, they've apologized for it, we should forgive them. They don't see it that way. They're just like, no, we're not happy until this person is burning at the stake.
All right, let me ask you this then. Do you think these people who aren't happy about these particular said lyrics that these artists have said previously, do you think they are Gen A's, newer generation?
I think it's usually the younger people, yeah.
So, in a way,
I'm sure there's some older people doing it also, you know? Like, I always hated this artist, so now is a good time to jump on the bandwagon. But
I would argue that people our age, during our generation, our era, they're not like...
accepting.
Yeah, they're not... But not only that, but they're not going to be like, oh, I need to start a movement. Like, bruh, okay, that was during that time.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's more of the new generation where it's like, how dare this person say this thing about this particular people or this particular person, you know?
Yeah, it feels like it's more, if millennials, then the really later millennials and the Gen Zers.
That fool was finna say Magenza.
Millennials.
Millennials.
But the millennials that are, because we're millennials, but we're on the Gen X side of millennials. Yeah. So we grew up kind of in that era, you know, when all these artists were saying these controversial lyrics, we were kids. So we grew up hearing that stuff. It did not seem that out of place to us as it would have, say, a Gen Z kid comes along. They grew up in PC culture. And now they go back and hear that, and that stuff is shocking to them.
Well, god dang it. We say that, though, Smokey, but if you think about it, there's a lot of songs today, bro, that's pretty freaking shocking.
Well,
don't
sexually.
You run from me, you.
Well, he got railed against for that.
Blew up though. He didn't change it. He didn't. No, I'm not gonna change my lyrics. This is how
that would have been dumb. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And he's black.
And that's context, though. If Mario Judah, that's context, because people tried to make that lyric into something that it wasn't, that he did not intend it to be.
All right, I got another one for you. Dave Blunt's, got a white girl, she's a wrist slitter. If you want her, you can come and get her. People hate me, but I'm a rich... He actually puts the hard ER. And now if you go listen to the song now, it actually has just the A.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's like, wait a minute. So we went from Mario Judah, he didn't change it, to you know, don't you run from me, you. People are, how dare he say that, even though he's black, and he didn't change it.
I don't even think he dropped the ER on it.
No, but it was so emphasized.
Yeah.
But now you get another rap song from a rapper who's black. I got a white girl, she's a wrist slitter. If you want her, you can come and get her. They gonna hate me because I'm a rich. Like, oh, you can't say that. But I'm black. Like, y'all the one that you like. But they went in.
Can I not criticize myself?
That's the thing. But why did they go in and make him change that? But not Mario Judah. What's that about? Why?
Well, Mario Judah's kind of a rebellious guy anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even. He does. If you see his work that he's been putting out now, like, he disappeared off the map for like 3-4 years. Came back, he's skinny now, and does this like, what would you call it, like emo rock-ish rap stuff.
I mean, he kind of started like that.
Yeah.
But look, okay, let me ask this. All right, so is it okay for an artist to call themselves whatever the derogatory term to refer to that race is? Is that okay? Just yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so Mario Judah saying, people hate me because I'm a fat... Like, that's okay, right?
Like, if I said, you know, I'm just a worthless C word.
Cracker. Yeah, that's a totally fine word. It's okay for you to say it, you know? So if a black person comes out and says, I'm a fat... Like, why are other people so upset at that? Not only that, all right, what about... and we love all people here, but, like, take a... Oh, God, we could go so deep here. Let's take a a Chinese person. You know the derogatory term for a
Yeah.
Chinese person. Is it wrong for a Chinese person to call themselves that?
No.
So then why do other people get so mad at it?
Because it's all about regulating other people's freedom of speech these days.
I just keep thinking you gonna eat your cornbread. You can't have my cornbread. Dang it, you can't say that word. I'm gonna say my word. You know what I mean? Like that's
Life was a great movie.
Great. I watched it last night. Actually.
Oh yeah,
great movie.
I haven't seen it in quite some time. That
Great
was a great movie.
But no, not only that, dude. If you go back to like,
he didn't get my cornbread, Clyde.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the PC culture is like you're black. You can't say the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have my word. Nah, he ain't get my word, Clyde. He ain't get my word. I'm gonna say my word.
Yeah.
I mean, but Clyde was willing to give up that word.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, you know what? You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Man, you man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd say stand on business in that situation because you didn't do anything wrong.
No. Now, if you're doing it towards the other person.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
This is where we have to kind of flip into the 80s, the 90s, hell, the 70s, the 60s.
Yeah.
We've done songs where, like, man, what song is it where, was it Bob Dylan, when he had said the N-word?
Yeah. Yeah. But see, that is context right there. Because he was not using it to degrade anyone. He was using it saying someone else is using this to degrade someone. So why is that wrong?
Well, now, all right, in the same breath, let me ask you this question. I just asked you, it's okay for the person of that race to say it.
Yeah.
So is it okay for a person of the opposite race to say it?
If you're using it in that context, I say yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, nowadays people are gonna get mad though either way.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter at this point. But he was using it to prove a point that this guy was underrated and what's the word I'm looking for? He was hated against. There's a better word for it. Yeah, discriminated.
Yeah. So
they're like saying this guy was discriminated against using these terms.
Right.
Like,
so,
is that bad to point out stuff
thing.
like that? I'm gonna point out an injustice, and you're mad at me because of the word that was actually the word that was said.
Right. Now, and I get where you're saying with I promise. I mean, I can't promise you, but there are people in this day and age that are like, no, if he's not that, he can't say it.
Yeah.
And a prime example, me being a big MMA fan, Joe Rogan. There was a big thing with Joe
Oh
Rogan.
yeah, that was a big one.
He said it, and somebody made a mashup of him saying N-word after N-word after N-word.
Oh,
after
people
N-word,
love
after
to take
N-word,
it
after
out of
N-word.
context.
And coming from someone who is half black and half white, and when I say the white side of my, or I won't say the entire white side of my family, but I don't care. Screw him. He's a piece of crap. I don't care if you're watching this, but he's a piece of POS. He's a racist son of a, you know. And if I won't get into how my mom and dad that happened,
That's so crazy.
It's crazy, but he is a racist, and no one on the white side of my family f's with him. He actually did some things with the Klan, but my thing is,
and had a black kid.
Half black.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
One night, high school party, 17 years old. They were young, dumb, and drunk. But anyway, you got this guy who's such a racist, you know, who will use that word to, I'm going to go against you. But then you get the people who that word is, they're intending to demean and make them feel lower. They're using it as a term of endearment. So now, some people, like Bob Dylan, he's using it in context. Joe Rogan used it in context. I get it. There are some people who are going to be like, you can't because you're not that. Yeah. Does that apply to any other word?
It doesn't feel like it, does it?
Like, you don't hear a Jewish person call himself the K word. You don't hear a Chinese person call himself the C word.
Do they not? I mean, there might be.
What's up, my?
Lil Dicky might have done it.
But is it a thing in the Jewish community?
No, I don't think that. I don't think it's like just a regular part of the vernacular that we're gonna use every day. I said we're not. I'm not part of the Jewish community.
Bro, you done already screwed. You done been Jewish. God dang, bro. Smokey gets a pass on certain things. Okay, y'all. Just don't come.
Well, as an Irish American, I will say, Patty, ginger. Well, I'm not ginger because that specifically applies to redheads, but there's terms for Irish people that doesn't offend me at all.
Like what? What are the...
I like Patty. You know, people say you can't say Patty Wagon anymore
Oh,
because
Patty
that was
the
the
Patty. I like Patty.
that was the Patty Wagon.
Yeah,
Was
I know,
the
I know.
big
They
panel
have
van
yes.
that they would use to go round up the drunk Irish people.
Yes.
And Patty was a slang term for an Irish person that, you know, was basically a worthless Irish person.
That's the thing. And
That does not offend me at all.
Yeah, but this also, we also might be talking as two Americans. You know, we're
Yeah.
not from Ireland. And if any Irish or...
But we are descended from Ireland.
We are. But, like, the thing... I think for some reason it's just like the N word.
There's plenty of people like of all races that are Americans that did not, where they weren't born in that other country.
Yeah, absolutely.
That are still mad about terms.
So does the word cracker bother you?
Nah, not at all.
The word don't
I
bother
don't.
me.
None of this stuff bothers
It not
me.
me. It again.
Like that's the thing. Words only have the power you give it.
But words do mean things. I mean, words mean. If you tell someone, if you go to the bank and say, "Hey, I want to close my account and don't want to withdraw anything," those words that you just said mean things. You just close your account. You'll never. Yeah. So if you say something, "Hey, get off my lawn, you stupid," that person may not. It may not mean something to you, but it may mean something to them.
Like say somebody's like, "Get off my lawn, you stupid Patty."
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like, "Well, I'm mad at that person for being mad at me, but that word didn't bother me at all."
Now let's say
and that might be a power in itself if you cannot let things offend you.
Right. Again, we're talking. So, all right. Let's say the person who said, "Get off my lawn, you stupid Patty."
Yeah.
Why is it okay for you to say Patty but not cracker? I just want to know that. Why can you say Patty but not cracker?
I don't know.
You can't say cracker?
I mean, I can say it.
Say it.
Cracker.
Okay, because earlier you was like,
yeah, well, I mean, you already said it now, so I was trying to avoid the YouTube censors, but you already said it.
Talk about a soda cracker. We just said Jewish. We just said, I mean, I don't know. But I mean, it's so what if someone who told a person from Ireland with a completely gingered up, red hair, freckles, pale skin, if they said, "Get off my lawn, you Patty," and that person's like, they get furious at them. "How dare you call me?" Are they justifiable on that? Like, is it okay for them to get
I mean, I would say the anger for someone being angry at you makes more sense than being angry because of the word they used. Like, that's just me, though. I'm like, I'm not going to let you hold that power over me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If it comes to, like, again, words do mean things, but again, context. That's the thing. It's like, dude,
But I'm saying I'm not gonna let a word like hold me down. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and like when it comes to certain, like if someone, all right, let me ask you this one. If someone, well, no, I agree with you because I was gonna ask, like, if someone came to you and said, "Hey, you're a terrible rapper," does that bother you?
Nah, I'd laugh. I just did.
Right. Like you just did. You just laughed. So I'm the same way. It's like, but there are some people, and again, I'm thinking.
I'd be like, well, beat me then. Show me how much better you are.
Well, I guess I'd say something similar. I'd just be like, again, I don't care. That's your opinion. If you don't like it, fine. Sure. Go listen to something else. Yeah. But there are some people, and I would argue from this generation, that'd be like, "How dare you call me a bad rapper? How dare you?" Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Now, taking it back to music back in the day, you know how many artists had to change lines?
Yes.
Like,
tons.
What are your thoughts on that?
If you don't feel that way anymore, I would say change it. If you feel like you just feel awful using that line, then yes, change it.
Okay.
Like if you feel for the people that you hurt with those lyrics, you know, and there's some lyrics out there that are absolutely hurtful, regardless of a single word you use or not. There are some lyrics out there that were absolutely hurtful to people, and if that bothers you in your soul, change it. Do a different line. Like, you know, ICP is getting backlash now from something they did back in the 90s.
Yeah, I know you're going here.
Yeah, I mean, a few questionable lyrics, you know, because they were trying to be the shock rappers, you know, trying to just shock everyone. And that's what a lot of extreme music did back in the 90s. It was all about how many people can I offend? How many people can I get upset, you know? And there was some lines that, you know, referred to even underage girls and whatnot.
Yeah.
And now they're like, we don't do those lines anymore.
Right.
And that's what I would say. If
Right.
you feel bad about it, then don't do those anymore. But if you do use them, if you still feel that in this day and age, you still need to use those exact lines, then just be prepared for the backlash you're going to get from it.
See, that's all right. Now, like, there's some songs like from some big '80s rockers where they're talking. Like, there's some songs that they were talking about, like, oh, you're not old enough yet, but like they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm talking about? Do you think those artists still perform those songs today? Like,
I think a lot of them changed those lyrics. Yeah.
Oh my God, I got one.
Uh-huh.
That it's actually the opposite around, and actually I think they changed the lyrics. You know the song, it never really mattered that much to me.
Yeah.
The original,
too
dang,
old
no,
for
but
me.
the original was young.
Oh.
You were just too.
Oh yeah, it was
dang
the dude
young
that did
for
it
me.
first, right? And
Yes.
then the girl version, yeah.
And then it was like, hold on, wait a minute, too young. And
Yeah.
then let me love you
Get down.
down. You're talking about an
Even if it
underage
takes
version.
all night.
But then I was like, all right, hold on. A few years later, it never really mattered that much to me that you were just too dang old. And I'm sure there's some people out there who are ageist. Like, how dare, why can't, you know what I mean, man? Come on, man.
Yeah. Oh, you know, now, like, even lines like that get people upset, man, because it feels like if you're of a certain age, you're 50 years old, like, even if you're pursuing a 30-year-old, that is a problem to a lot of people. They're like, okay, yeah, that person's well of age, but 20 years is just way too much. That's creepy.
It's so crazy. Have you seen Bill Belichick?
Yes, I have.
Jesus.
That's exactly who I was thinking of.
All right, and we won't.
There's probably a 40-year difference there. I don't know the exact ages, but
that's the thing. It's like morally, it's like if how old is Bill Belichick?
oh, he's in his 70s now.
How old is his girlfriend? 23, I think. 23.
Late 20s, early 30s.
Hell, I know for a fact she's 23. I actually
Was
looked
it
at
really that young?
I think. Hold on, I'll look it up real quick.
I think you might be right. I might have heard that somewhere.
Cause
Oh yeah, people give him hell about it.
Uh,
Because when he went to go coach for North Carolina, people are like
24. Actually.
Yeah, because his girlfriend goes there.
Yeah, 24 actually. But now it's like, all right. Just speaking from Hollywood's point of view, if I'm a billionaire, how old is Bill Belichick? You said again?
Oh, he's in his 70s.
All right, Bill Belichick. I'm a billionaire. I'm got multiple Super Bowls, and I'm in the mid 70s. And there's a 24-year-old that's like, oh, I'm so into you. I get it. It's legal. Me personally, I'm speaking Hollywood.
I wouldn't want
it.
it.
Feels weird, dude.
Yes.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man. And I get you're not doing anything wrong. Yes,
Yeah.
she is an adult, but God, I get a 5 age year gap. I get a 10
Yeah.
year. I get a 50. I get a 20. God.
20 seems a lot to me. Not that I'm just. This is me personally. Not that I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, you're 50-year-old. You can't be with a 30-year-old. That's nasty. Like, I'm not gonna do that. But for me personally, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right. Same here. But now
Because I'm like, there's just too much of a difference between us.
Right.
That it's never gonna work out between us.
Yeah. I don't speak on that. But let's flip it. What if the man is 25 and the female is 65?
Oh, probably.
There's some hot 65s girls out there.
There are these days, man.
That's
There
what
wasn't when we were kids.
Not when we was kids, but
But
now you see how we're playing a double
Yeah.
standard. We're like, oh.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's crazy.
Bro,
because
think of exactly. You see, we were so clear cut, direct to
Yeah.
the point with that.
that's how society has trained us to be, though, right?
yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, I wouldn't hate on it either way. It's just, for me, it just feels weird. Like, I just can't do it.
What about if when you were in high school, who was the hottest, your biggest celebrity crush when you were in high school?
Probably J-Lo.
All right.
Either that or Eve.
All right, so let's say J-Lo. J-Lo's probably in her early 50s now,
Yeah.
maybe mid 50s.
Not really that much older than me.
Okay, but let's say J-Lo is 40. Let's say she's 49, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're 23.
Mm.
That's your crush. Hey, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. Would you like to go to dinner?
Yes.
Bro, that's a 30, almost 30-year gap there, dude. God.
Maybe 20
20-year gap. But
Yeah.
still, it's the double standard thing. We won't, what?
Yeah, well, I guess when you're young, though, you feel like all those artists are your age, like they're your peers, right? You know, when you're in high school and you're watching artists perform, you're like, these are my peers, you know? And then you eventually realize, like, oh, they were 20 years older than me. I didn't even realize it, you know? You're going to their concerts, you're like, they speak to us. They speak to the youth, you know? They're on our level, and then you come to find out they were much older than you thought they were.
Right. I mean, and that
you're thinking, oh, they must be, what, 19, 20? No, they're 35.
Yeah. And going back to the second comment from the previous podcast that I Ate Granola said, he said, when you're a big enough groupie that you become friends with the band, the manager puts you on list so you never have to pay to get anything. So you're right. If you're that much of a groupie, even if they are a little bit older than you, you look at them as like peers. You know, it's like, I know them, I follow them.
Yeah.
So I wanted to shout you out again on that because it kind of ties into what you were saying. But now, how do you feel about, like, if Bob Dylan, let's say Bob Dylan has performing that song that where he said the N-word in it. He's been performing it. It's 2025. He performed it last year, the year before that. And never changed the lyric. But let's say 1 year there's a movement that comes out of all these 21 and under. You can't say that. You can perform the song, but don't say that word. Don't say that word. Do you think Bob Dylan would change it? He's like, he's been doing it forever until this small. Do you think he changed
How
it?
rebellious was he in his older age? That's the question, right?
He's still with us.
Bob Dylan?
Bob Dylan's still with us.
I guess. For some reason I was thinking he passed.
God dang it.
Check that out.
I'm pretty sure Bob Dylan's still with us. Hold on.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, Bob. God
I mean,
dang.
he is still alive.
He's still with us, and he is 84 years old. So yeah, let's
Still
say
kicking.
he's doing that song, saying that
he
word.
feels like a socially conscious guy, though, right?
That's what I'm saying. He's been doing it since 2000, 2021, 22, 2023, 2024. He's been doing that song with that derogatory word. But then in 2025, there's this movement of these 21 and unders. You F Bob Dylan. Now he's got a big tour coming out, and he's like, you can do your tour, but you can't say that word.
I would like to think that Bob Dylan doesn't care what the
I would hope
20-year-olds
so.
think.
At that, man, at 84, I don't care about nobody. I'm pissing everybody off. My goal is to piss all y'all off.
Oh, you hate me? That's pretty cool. Good luck with that.
Yeah, man.
I mean, at that point, what do you care about?
I have been places you will never be.
If you didn't do anything illegal, then who gives a damn?
And again, man, there's something to be said. And again, you made a really good point when you said context, because context is everything.
Yeah,
there are some people who are gonna agree with that. There are some people I know. I don't care what color you are. You cannot say that word. I don't care. I don't care how down you are. You do have those
James
people.
Blunt. That's an example of one. He's like, oh y'all say it.
What'd you say?
James Blunt.
Oh, Dave Blunt.
Yeah,
James Blunt.
James Blunt. I always say that with that dude. Dave Blunt. He was performing to a room full of white kids, and he was like, "Oh, y'all, say it with me."
Yeah, and they're saying, "I got a white girl. She's a wrist slitter." You got the whole crowd. People hate me because I'm a fat.
Yeah.
Like you got a room of white kids saying it. So
now that does feel a little weird. I ain't gonna lie. That feels a little weird.
Coming from a white dude. How does that feel weird?
Dave Blunt, Dave Blunt's a really... Nah, I ain't gonna say nothing. Somebody will say that's offensive.
Bro, we done already pissed off enough to... Go for it, man.
Dave Blunt is not the most hood guy out there.
Well, he said that himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's, But, it feels weird that the whole room full of white people are gonna scream out the hard R.
Yeah. And
I mean, like, I'm all for freedom of speech. Go ahead and do it if you feel like it. Just be prepared.
That's something I also wanted to say as well. I've said it before. I may not agree with what you say, but I'll fight for your right to say it. But now let me ask you this though. We also got things like Kanye West.
Yeah. Is he ever gonna feel sorry for the things he said?
I just think
David Bowie did. Like, he apologized for that era of his life.
How is it that the second we bring up Kanye West, the next
Because
person who always comes
I
up
do not care. Those two are eternally linked souls. There is something mystical between David Bowie and Kanye West. I don't care if you call it an internet theory, whatever. It feels like there is a connection there because it's too many similarities.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
God dang it, man. I was going to ask you if you thought, dang it, what was I going to ask you?
What about, like, what about apologizing for things that the artist did, and rather than just lyrics?
See, all right, man, this is gonna sound so effed up, but listen, man, we from Atlanta. If y'all don't know what Freaknik is, y'all won't understand. But did you ever go to Freaknik?
No, I was too young.
Okay, so I didn't go, but me and my friends lived right around the corner from where Freaknik was happening. It was I think it was the last year I was here. I might have been 5. No, I might have been 7, actually. My friend Trey. I can't remember. But, dude, I've got a vivid image that's burnt in my head. I think I've told you, and I won't say it. But I remember us driving. And, y'all, I'm talking about girls just out.
Yeah, it was wild. It's like Girls Gone Wild, but it was, spring break in Atlanta.
It was like watching on TV. Yeah. But it's like back then it was accepted.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it was okay. And what happened? You know, and I guess it changed for the best because you want to respect women. You want to treat people with.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, you want to treat people with dignity.
Yeah.
But what was the shift? What changed from girls going out there doing all this? And yes, it still happens to where
it does. Yeah, but it's more underground these days. You know, and it's not like something you want to brag about because you're gonna get backlash from society.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I always think about it. When I see those videos of, like, Freaknik back in the day, I'm like, those girls now have got to be, like, in their mid to late 50s.
Yeah.
Like, it's in their head, I bet they're like, boy, let me tell you about Atlanta 1991. Boy, let me tell you. They probably was like...
they got some wild times that they're not going to tell the grandkids about.
No. And then, or, like, imagine this, man... There's so many things, but do you think they would be apologetic? Do you think like those girls who are on those? I mean, dude, I'm talking about full in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Like if their grandkids or if their grandkids was like, Grandma, is this you? And there's like 8. I mean, do you think Grandma's gonna be like, I apologize, I shouldn't do this, or she was like, is it the same thing with acts as it is with lyrics? Like, hey, I did these things, but it was okay to do that back then. Now,
I mean, if they find out, the ideal thing is that they never find out. But if they do, then that's the only thing you can say at that point. Like, yeah, it was wrong. It was absolutely wrong. But it was normal at the time. Man. That's the best thing with lyrics, with anything. For you to just point out, like, yes, I was wrong.
Yeah.
But that was what everybody was doing.
That was the normality of the time, man.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Like, smoking. Oh, my God, dude. That's so crazy. I saw this thing where it said the reason, like if you look at 70s and 80s basketball, like if you see Michael Jackson dunking, you know those pictures and that ambiance of the back and
flash
it's got
bulbs everywhere.
Yeah, and they were like, and if you go to look at it now, like pictures now, like of LeBron James or somebody dunking, it's like, or Muhammad Ali. Remember him standing over and it's got the ambiance in the back looks so crazy.
Yeah.
And they're like, the reason that is because you were allowed to smoke.
Yeah. All those arenas were filled with smoke.
Right. Yep. So it's like, hey, why do these pictures look so much better? We've got better, higher quality cameras, but
it don't have to smoke.
It ain't got that environment. Like, but at the time, you could smoke on airplanes. You could smoke there. I remember
that's wild, ain't it? To think about now.
Yes.
Is that you're sitting on this tube completely enclosed and just smoke all the way through
everywhere.
And they're like, well, I want the non-smoking section. It's still gonna make its way to you.
I mean, and it's so crazy. Think about boxers and their endurance. They're like, you know, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, but bro, that's secondhand smoke, you know.
Hey, times change, man.
I mean,
things that weren't accepted, you know, or things that were accepted are not anymore,
and things that weren't are.
Yeah,
we were talking about off camera before we started this. We were talking about Frank Sinatra if he came back to live.
Yeah, yeah. What would he think about today's society?
Oh,
You saying I can't smoke while I eat my T-bone?
What else can I do?
Oh, there's a lot of things, Frank, that we can't get into on camera.
Can I say this word?
Nope. You can't call women that, Frank.
Can I do a little tap on the?
No, you can't slap the waitress. No, you can't do none of that stuff. You can't even call her waitress. It's a waiter.
Well, what's a female person in a movie?
That is an actor.
I can't say actress.
No, that's an actor.
Boom! I don't want to be here anymore. Like,
yeah, people would be in culture shock by not living through it.
Yeah,
you know?
And that was all satirical. That's all a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right, man. It's like I could just see, like, God, I just want to I want to take '80s Rick James and put him in the middle of, like,
they wouldn't want to be here.
He'd be like, "Is it pure?"
Like it's one thing because it's the rat experiment where if you stick the rats straight into this really hot box that's just cooking them, they're going to try to escape instantly. But if you turn it up 1 degree per day, they will stay there until they boil themselves.
That's the frog experiment.
Rats, frogs, whatever experiment you wanted to do.
It's a name for it. I can't remember it.
Yeah, there is a scientific name for what they did, but
you're right. It's like you don't know where it's going to go eventually, but if you turn it up 1 degree at a time, God, it's so crazy because when you think of other countries, like when I look at Khabib, like the Dagestani culture, like they don't tolerate that. It's not acceptable, or you know what I mean. There's certain things that's just you can't. You'll be sentenced. You might be offed by the government because you can't wear that color. You can't act this way. Mm-hmm. It's not socially acceptable. And it's like there are still some places in this world like Dagestan and some of these Russian countries where you can't do these things that are acceptable in America. It's like, did we just get soft, or did we just get what happened?
No, I mean it's went in both directions at the same time though. Like we were saying, like just some things you can't do now that you could back then, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
I mean, not every country is that fast to evolve.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you? God, man, there's so much I want to say that I can't say.
Can't say on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just crazy that some things that we do here every day on a norm. Me wearing this shirt. It says keep camel and proofread.
Yeah.
And there are some countries it may be against the law to how dare you spell calm incorrectly. It's supposed to be C-A. You're not supposed to
That's
put
a
this.
hell of a country.
I'm just making something crazy.
For instance,
there might be a country where you can't, if you're gonna put words on there and you're gonna be on camera and you're gonna speak to people.
Yeah.
It needs to be grammatically correct.
You see that clip of the reporter that ended up being imprisoned in North Korea? Because he stole a political poster from an area of a hotel that was off limits to foreigners. So they arrested him and tortured him for, 18 months or whatever. And then they finally returned him to America. And when he gets off the plane, he was not able to speak or respond to anything. He was completely silent, and then he died 6 days later.
Damn, like shell shock?
Yeah, they destroyed him without... They kept him alive somehow for 18 months, but he was wrecked.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like in that country, people over there know not to take that piece of sign out.
Just for taking the poster off the wall.
But in this country, sure.
Here, you can take it up, wipe your butt with it, and
dude.
I mean, it's freedom of speech.
God dang, but at what are we getting to a point where the term freedom may be too loose? Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I've seen children TV shows where it's just blatant.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
But it's freedom.
But we're so controlled socially about using a certain word, no matter of the context. You know, and that's many words. I'm not talking about just the N word.
No.
I'm talking about many
The
words.
the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O word.
Words that you could lose your career for saying. Yet there's sexual innuendos in children's TV shows.
But
like I said, we're going in both ways at the same
so
time
crazy.
somehow.
But I just want to say, hey, you can't say the A word. You're thinking of the A word. Just I can't say the B word.
No.
Can't say the C word.
No.
Not the D word.
No.
E word.
Yeah.
F word. G word.
Stay away
H
from
word.
that F word.
There's I guess Z might be the only word. Oh God, there is one I can actually think.
Is there an X word?
Oh yeah. There's one, buddy. There's one. God, it went from B word, C word, F word. Now it's the alphabet.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just these chosen words that you will be condemned socially for saying, regardless of what the context is.
All right,
it's really weird, but
yeah. All right, so now let's do it like we always do. Let's bring it around. Now, the question that we asked at the beginning: should an artist, not a political person, not someone who's not a I mean, I guess you could look at that as
a lot of artists are outspoken politically.
That's what I was gonna say. So,
which I don't prefer myself. You know, I prefer to keep art and politics completely separate because I don't particularly like one of those.
Meanwhile,
and I love art.
One of your favorite bands is Rage Against the Machine.
I do. Yeah.
So is there something in you that
that was more anti-political, you know?
But that's still political.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Okay, anti-political, I'm fine with.
It's going like this. It's playing both sides.
Yeah, I don't know. I got something against politicians, man.
I mean, that's you know, and I'm the same way. Politics, semantics, and certain things. It's just like, I just leave me out of it, man. As long, I don't know, but
and I loved Rage when I was a very rebellious young person. So it's always gonna have a soft spot in my heart.
Let me ask you this: could you be a fan of a band and their name was the Democrats?
What did they talk about though? What
Nothing but Democratic views. Could you be a fan? One of our Patreon members.
I'd be like, good God, y'all got anything else to talk about? You know, like the MAGA rappers and all these people. It's like, do you have anything else to talk about, my guy? I recognize that you are a talented artist. Can you talk about anything else? Like, this is just boring to me.
So, all right, one of our Patreon members says, "Hey, bro, hey man, new Patreon member, love you guys. You guys need to check out the this is a new band called the Liberals, and the name of this.
Check it out for sure. I'm just saying, I can't listen to you talk nonstop about politics.
Yeah. But if it's anti-politics,
I'm
all for it.
You're on to something right there now.
That's hilarious, man. So now, again, let's bring it back around. So, should an artist, in the grand scheme of things, should an artist have to apologize for their previous lyrics if it's not if it doesn't pertain to this current culture?
I don't think you have to, but you need to be prepared for the backlash you're gonna get from the public. Yeah. And to the public, I say, if they apologize, then they are not that person anymore. Let them be. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Like, what, do you want to see them hanging on a cross, or is that too religious, iconism? But is that just, you know, is that what you want? That's your end goal? Like, I have to make sure this guy loses everything or whatever. Is that the goal you want? I say, if the person is a different person, let them live their life.
Yeah.
We don't need to burn books. We've been through that in history. We've been through book burnings. It didn't work out well.
No. And not only that, but god dang, how much did we don't know because of those book burnings, you know?
Yeah,
like we
exactly.
lost so much of history because of that, dude.
We don't need to erase history, because if you don't know history, you're going to repeat it. And you can say, well, that was only a few years ago. We all know it now. Let's just get rid of it at this point. The future generations are not going to have that to know what's right or wrong. So then we just keep repeating the cycle over and over again. Let the art be there.
You know what you sound like right now? A politician.
A politician.
Let the art
I
be
don't
there.
know. Those politicians that burnt all the books.
Yeah, I mean, man, you spoke with some conviction, and
Yeah.
I just saw you up on there stand, and dang it, we're not gonna burn the books, and dang it, we're not gonna erase history, and dang it, we're gonna do it this way, and this how it's gonna be done. You're gonna have people that are gonna vote for that.
Yeah, vote for me. I'll set this dang world straight.
But doesn't that make you a politician?
Yeah, but I'm gonna be like the anti-politician.
You're still in politics.
Yeah.
God, that's so crazy.
I'm the anti-politician.
All right, y'all go.
I'll go to the White House and set everybody straight. But I just walk in. Y'all are fired. I fired myself because I don't like politicians.
Well,
I am fired. All the y'all are fired. Let's just go home.
Somebody's got to run the country. I mean,
we'll leave it up to chance.
Oh, hell. Maybe that'll be next week's podcast title, man. Smoke, you got anything for him on this week, man? This was a fun one.
Yeah, I think there was, but I don't remember.
Yeah, there was
right
something
now.
else I wanted to say, too, dude.
Yeah.
God damn, let's see if we can remember. Dang it, what was I going to
Oh, what about Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Okay.
So, Anthony Kiedis had a story in one of his memoirs or whatever it was about having a relations with a young person.
Okay.
And, you know, he made this quite some time ago. Mm-hmm. And he gets a lot of backlash for that. Now, if he's a different person today and he agrees that stuff is wrong, should we be condemning him?
Not if he's a different person today and he knows it's wrong. I don't think so.
Yeah, well, you know, people say... See, I don't know if the story was true. It could have been an all made up story. So there's the tough part to figure out right there. I'm not for judging people without knowing what's truth and what's not, because if you didn't see it with your own eyes, you don't know what's truth anyway. There's so many lies that circulate around the world that none of us really know the truth, but we're all quick to judge, and we just have to make determinations on whether these people are good or bad. So we don't know if the story is true. There's never been any proof come out that the story is true. It was just a story that he told in there. Maybe true, though.
Maybe.
But if he says that, you know, he doesn't feel that way anymore, I say he's a different person now anyway.
Yeah, if you're a different person, again, man, you change with the times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you may...
You learn from your mistakes.
And learn from
That's
your
one
mistakes.
thing we fail to realize, that people make mistakes in life.
Man.
No one is perfect.
Yeah.
It's impossible to be perfect.
Well, man, I don't want to be perfect. I don't want to be perfect. Imperfections are good. Like you don't want a perfectly symmetrical face or perfectly nice body. Like as a man,
Perfect is subjective.
and you're right. I mean, hell, life is subjective. But if
Yeah.
you want to think about it,
Yeah.
but it's like the day you stop learning, the day you stop, learning. Is the day you stop talking, is the day you die, man. It's like you gotta be open to change. I was not that person in 1994, or I was that person in 94. Oh, dude, now we can open another can of worms.
All right.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
If
That's what I was about to say. What sins are unforgivable?
man, this is all right, bro. I'm gonna tell you on some real. This is how I feel, man. I feel humans, we're selfish. A lot of people. You don't, and I will say majority of people's, we won't admit it, but most people will say, okay, like in a conversation, I've noticed this in the type of work that I'm in. I talk to a lot of people. I've noticed that a lot of people just talk. They'll talk, but then when you talk to them, they're not listening.
No, they're waiting for their next chance to
Yes,
talk.
they're not listening to comprehend. They're listening to respond.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, like I could have a true story. I had someone come up to me and was like, "Hey, how was your time at Six Flags?" I go to respond. "Oh man, it was great." "Oh, okay, cool. Let me tell you about my time at Six Flags." Then why even ask me? You know, it's like they're
to
a lot.
open the conversation so that they can get their part in.
Then why ask me?
That was why.
Selfishness.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like there are, and I think we're all guilty of it. I think we all are guilty at some point of being, "Hey, I need to speak so I can get my point out," instead of taking in. And not only that, but a lot of times it's like, even with life, like, remember when the pandemic happened, man? It's like, I need as much toilet paper as I can, instead of thinking about other people, man. Like, we talked about the road rage incident. You know, it's like, like if someone cut you off like, hey, you know what? Sorry, go on about your day, man.
Yeah.
But like, you're not thinking what's going on in that person's life. You know,
Yeah.
you're not. You ask me a question. Are you asking because you genuinely want to know? Or are you asking just because you have an end goal that you're just trying to nudge me into talking to? I don't know. I mean, I think us as humans can be selfish people. I think it's just in us.
Yeah.
This is mine. I got to make sure I got enough gas. I got enough car. I got enough heat. I've got enough money. I've got. And then once I'm good, all right, I can sure. You can go. Like if somebody come up to you 10 years ago, hey bro, let me borrow $5. When are you getting that $5 back?
Probably never.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. That's the selfishness.
Very few people are going to be willing to give
Right.
that back. Yeah.
So that person coming to you asking for that $5, knowing damn well he ain't gonna give you this $5 back.
Yeah.
He's being selfish.
Yeah.
You were like, all right, I'm gonna help you out. You could have gave him 20. You know what, bro? Here's a dub. I know I ain't gonna get it back. You could have gave him $20, but you know what? You asked for 5. Here's 5. You know you ain't gonna get it back. So that little piece of you not being selfish, but that little piece of him being selfish, it's just. It's this, like you said, it's just all, it's like, God dang it, man. Just be better people. Think about your neighbor, help people out, man.
Yeah. We should all be on a constant quest to improve ourselves.
Selfishness. Ourselves. Improve
ourselves
as a people.
For other people.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, there's been that sentiment for so long of, dang, now I forgot what it was. I got to do what's best for me. That's the line.
Which is okay.
People are always like, I always got to do what's best for me. Like, yeah, but if you're hurting other people in that process, then no, you should not be doing what's best for you.
Right.
You should be helping the people around you.
See, I mean, and that's such a...
I mean, you don't have to hurt yourself to get there. You can figure out a way to get there without hurting yourself or other people. Yeah. That's the best way to be. But it doesn't always have to be, I got to do what's best for me.
You're right. But then again, when you said you got to do what's best for me, like if you think about it, everything you do everything we do indirectly affects other people. You driving your car. Oh, there's the fossil fuel. It hurts.
Yeah, and the traffic's a little bit longer.
Exactly.
One car longer.
It's just, I don't know.
I mean, you got to try to minimize it as much as possible.
It ain't gonna be, you can't completely eradicate it, but just try to minimize it as much as possible.
Try to be as less of a strain on society as you can be.
Yeah, and God, dude, not only that, we could go back to what you were saying. Like, it's those people out there that's like, my job is to burn you at the stake.
Yeah.
Like, your ultimate goal is to
hurt someone else.
So your selfishness is to get rid of some. Bruh, that's
it reminds
lame to me.
When I was in high school. At the end of high school, I worked at Advanced Auto Parts, right? And this guy came in looking for flashlights, headlights one night, and he was like, "I want the brightest one that you have." And I was like, "Oh, you got a vision problem or something?" He was like, "I want to piss people off. Everybody's blinding me. I just want to piss people off." And I'm like,
"Did he say that verbatim?"
Yes.
Jesus
yes.
Christ.
He said, "I want the brightest ones that's going to piss people off." And I was like, "That's your goal." That's why society is in the state that it's in. There's too many people that are just like, I need to affect other people negatively.
How did you finish that conversation at the job? I want to know how that ended.
I was a kid. I was like, there they are. There's the bright ones. It stuck with me for so many years. I'm like, your goal is just to affect other people negatively.
And it's so crazy.
And that makes you feel good about yourself somehow.
Indirectly, you helped them do that.
Yeah, I did.
I
I told him where they were at. He was going to buy them either way.
Aisle 3. Look at
If I didn't tell him, he was going to walk back there and find them. So we sold them. So what was I going to do?
Yeah, and that's your job. You got to make a living.
Nowadays, I might have actually been like, let me tell you why this is a bad idea.
How dare you? Your job is to point me what aisle this is.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But it just stuck with me. It's like, that's your thought. That's your goal.
There's some
is to piss off as many people as possible. And you see it in social media posts all the time. If I haven't offended you yet, stay tuned, or some meme like that. And it's like, why is your goal to piss everybody off?
That's their
goal. How does that make you feel good about yourself? The answer is it doesn't. In the long run, you feel even worse about yourself because people just don't like you because all you're doing is making people not like you.
And I agree with you. I agree with you. But to that person, he's probably got an entire group of friends that are like, who did we piss off today, guys? Come on, tell me, friend.
Eventually, you're going to piss them off, too.
And then they'll find another group of people to... we're... People are...
That's how we went down the toilet bowl in the first place, man. We're just spiraling.
It's just... It's like, man, listen, Smokey, you got anything else for this week?
Try to make the world a better place, people. And forgiveness is divine.
Yes. And also, when you have a conversation with someone, don't speak to wait for your turn to speak.
Yeah.
Try to listen. You know,
listen to what people are saying. You might feel some empathy if you do.
You might learn something. You know,
Yeah.
You might learn something. If you ask someone how their day is, you probably don't care, but at least try to pretend like you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And even if you don't feel empathetic, you at least make them feel a little better about themselves.
100%, man. To the trash talkers who stuck around this long on this episode of the Trash Talkers podcast, we greatly appreciate it. This one was a good one, Smoke.
Yeah, we went a long way off the rails this
All
time.
over the place. You got anything else you want to say to the trash talkers?
No, that's it for this week.
That's it for this week, guys. Again, later on today, we got Tuesday with the Tribe and a great week of reactions coming out. So stick around and stay tuned. And with that being said, my name's Barrett Hollywood 6. Bye.
I am Larry Smokey Ramirez.
And we are
over
and
out. Deuces. Yeah, boy.